Let me ask you something. Are you getting everything out of your rent-to-own business? If you're not an A-Pro member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is A-Pro's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing. A-Pro membership is about way more than advocacy. A-Pro connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry, people who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. A-Pro's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. A-Pro's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. A-Pro is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With A-Pro, members get more. More support, more connections, and more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the A-Pro family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with A-Pro.
And welcome to the RTO Show with Danny and Pete. I'm your host, Danny.
And I'm your host, Pete. And today we're talking about how to make your local rent-to-own company stand out. Your store stand out among the masses. And how do we do that, Danny?
Listen, the first thing that comes to my mind, man, is you got to have a personality, a big, big personality. And what I mean by personality is, it's got to be, you have to be relatable, you have to be funny, you have to be charismatic, you have to put yourself out there. It's kind of like a relationship. You got to be true to yourself, because people are going to pick up on that, and they're going to choose and decide whether or not they want to interact with you. And I think that's a big part of standing out. You want people to want to do business with you and who you are.
When I was a kid, right, and I'm not even going to say that I do it now, but I'm going to say when I was a kid, we used to play like Fallout, right? And Fallout had like all of these different categories that you can play with, right? There was strength and there was, smarts and science. One of those stats actually was charisma. And I never used to put that in there. And let me tell you, when you're going through life and you're looking at the situations as they are, man, charisma is such a huge thing. Charisma is like massively huge. Somebody who has charisma can really take it far in life just based on that trait. That is not a normal trait. That is something that it really has to be not worked on, but it's a natural thing that when used correctly, oh my God, charisma and personality go so far in this business. But when you're standing out like that and you use charisma to stand out, you should also remember there are other things that stand out as well, right? So if you're doing regular holiday promotions, as you should, that's the normal thing. You want to stand out? How about taking on the lesser known holidays and actually making it something for your customers, making it something valuable, make it something to look forward to. One of those things actually could be all of those crazy days during the year that you never really think about, right? So how about for your customers, making sure that they have a cookie on National Cookie Day, or making sure that you can do a poll and see what kind of cookies they'd be interested for Cookie Day. And that's actually going to be on December 4th in 2023. Or Get to Know Your Customers Day, where maybe you sit down with them and literally just have this small 5-question or 10 questionnaire where you actually sit down with one of your customers at a table and just kind of ask them questions and get their feedback, and then literally write that down so that you can create a personality for that person that maybe you can share with other people, or that you can remember or put those notes in your system so that you can say, hey, they like this, they don't like that, or they enjoy these particular things that they normally do. I think that would be awesome. Especially like maybe National Son and Daughter Day. I think you did something for Daughter Day, didn't you, on like your social media?
I normally always post every National Son, National Daughter's Day. I post pictures of my kids and give a little warm speech to them. They look forward to it every year. But I think you hit something there, Pete. Like, that's a great idea. And listen, how about 12 days of Christmas? If you start on the 1st of December and you do a little something for your customers, every day could be something different, like, free wrapping paper or free ribbons or free of the little name tags that you put on presents. What are those? Like $1, $2 for a pack of, 100? 12 Days of Christmas, that's a great idea, along with your, like you said, your National Cookie Days, stuff like that. Those are things that I would say you should be promoting every day on your social media. And it's fun and it's interactive, and you'd be surprised the involvement you'd probably get from your community. I think that's a great idea, Pete.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think also while you're doing that, sometimes it's good to remember everybody sees the same sales all the time, right? 20% off, 25% off, 50% off. Or if you do this, you get that. How about making it completely different and like going like 57%, 22%, 14% off. I mean, it's not the fact that you're going to get lesser or more of a deal. It's more of how does that stand out in a whole sea of things that are there? How does that stand out to your customers? Will that make them go, what the heck? Or how about a promotion where you say, hey, you know what? Get this today. I'm going to give you a pack of socks. I'm going to give you some potato chips. You're like, what? But tell me that they wouldn't say something to their other friends or relatives or references and be like, I went in the other day and they gave me like this pack of t-shirts. I don't even know what was going on. Or they gave me like 3 bells. I don't even know what to, but it's one of those things that if implemented the right way and you have the right customer with the right personality that's coming in and you hit them up with that, how are they not going to go back and tell everybody, that was just a crazy fun experience on my 13% off day.
Question. That's funny. Question. Be honest, Pete. Christmas, as a father, as a husband, do you get a pack of socks and underwear for Christmas?
Bro, that's like a staple in this household, bro. If I'm going to get 10 presents, I only think about 8 of them because one of them is a pack of t-shirts and one of them is underwear. And the other thing is like I wear white tees with everything. I wear white tees regardless under everything I wear. And so it's like every year I know somebody's going to go, this is Hanes Classic, this is Fruit of the Loom. Like we're getting you the best, the best stuff. And it's like, are you serious right now? But it's true. It's true. Every year it's a pack. And then they get you the long socks too. It's like, what am I going to do with these long socks? You know what I mean? We're in Florida.
I like socks, honestly. Like I'm a sock guy. I like the crazy socks and the long socks with different characters. I'm weird. I don't know, but I like them. I think it's funny. but man, listen, you're hitting it, man. That's great. As you're saying, I'm thinking to myself, if I saw an ad with an odd number like a 47, 13, whatever you said, it would intrigue me. Maybe because of my OCD, like I don't care for odd numbers, so I'm like, I would be like, what the hell is that? That's a weird number. But you know what? It's memorable. It would make me remember. I'd probably talk about it. I would probably be texting my wife, Melissa, like, did you see that so-and-so has a 33% off? What the hell is that? It would cause a discussion. So,
yes, man,
that's pretty good. That's pretty nifty. I like that. But going into that, here's the thing, man. You're hitting some great things as far as the promotions, the holiday promotions, the 57% off, the free socks. How would you promote that? And I'm going to be honest, man. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but I'm going to say it again. My opinion is, what is it, Pete?
It's social media.
I'm not gonna let off on this, guys. This might be on every episode, I'll be honest, because I think some people just aren't getting it. This is a digital era, okay? You're not going to pass out flyers. You do, but it's not the same way the flyer is of social media. True story. Last week, ex-employee friend of mine contacted me because they went to one of my locations and purchased a sofa chase sleeper. And he just does that from time to time. He knows I'm a district and I don't run a store anymore. But he'll call me and say, hey, I went to the store and got this. I got an agreement. Cool, no problem. And he told me, I didn't even ask, but he told me, he's like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know because I saw it on Facebook and that's what made me went to the store to get it. So what do you think I immediately did? I called the store, talked to the store manager. Hey, so-and-so got that sofa chase? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you know what brought him in? Well, he's just an active customer. No. So you guys aren't asking the right questions. He got it because he saw it on your Facebook. So that's twofold. One, social media works. You might think active customers are coming in just to come in. No, there has to be something that drives them to come in to want to get something or to see you again. And the social media is where it's at. Two, they're not doing the proper thing of following up to find out what marketing is and isn't working. But I'm telling you, social media is where it's at. Everything has to be documented nowadays. That's the only way you're really going to get recognized and the traffic you're needing. In addition to your big personality is not going to help if you don't have an audience. And the audience are going to be your followers, your listeners, your viewers. And lastly, when I'm talking about social media, I'm not talking about memes and hump day and here's a picture of a product. You gotta make videos. That's what people will watch, and you have to be relatable. You gotta have that personality. You have to display it. That's just what's gonna stand you out from everybody else.
Well, you got to think, right? If you're going to any social media, right, and you're going to, let's say, birdsareofafeather.com, right, and they have a social media presence, and you're going on there, and they tell you, hey, we had this great event. It was awesome. We had all kinds of people come, and all kinds of birds are flying around, and we were feeding these huge pelicans, fish flying through the air, and it's just writing. I mean, that would be the shortest that would be the shortest online source of let's get to that place that there is. Why? There's no pictures, no video, no real essence of what happened that day. And if you don't have that on there, you're going to lose it. Right now, you have to understand that when people see something, we have become so visual in our storytelling that they're not just looking for the read. They're looking for the description of what's happening as it's happening, right? They're looking for the twofold. They're looking for the pelican flying through the hand and holding the fish, or they're talking about the owl standing on somebody's head. You have to see that. You can't not see that, right? So when you're talking about social media, you have to have that presence of pictures, visuals. You have to have good storytelling, but way better pictures. If you have somebody with a camera who's better at you than storytelling, you're okay. Especially in social media, you're okay. Take the pictures, put them in that position where they're like, I want to be the guy with the owl on my head. I want that. You know what I mean? That's what creates the drive in them wanting to come in. And then once you get the owl on the head, right, and you get everybody involved, then you know you've gotten it. But another way to make yourself stand out, your business stand out, your store stand out is as you're posting those pictures and stuff, remember, it's also a good thing to throw a little spice in there, right? And some of that spice could be in the way of, let's say, a contest, right? So you could have a crazy contest. Hey, let's say if we are Birds of a Feather, let's say that I'm local rent-to-own shop 101, right? And I have finally sold the sofa that, the Mac Daddy sofa. And maybe want to win a contest, all right, show me your craziest pose on your living room sofa. And it could be, somebody laying down with their hand under their chin, or it could be somebody in a crazy hat, or somebody could be sitting upside down. But create that contest that has them coming back to you all the time, showing, and then interact with those posts, because it keeps them coming back to your website. It keeps them thinking about you when they're looking for something fresh and something to do. Everything is about activity now, right? Especially in TikTok, it's about a trend. Do something that somebody else is doing in your own way. Well, how about having those kind of contests where you can have somebody sitting on a sofa? You can have crazy shirt day, or you can have, how do you set up your living room with so much space? Do you have lamps? Do you not have lamps? What's the craziest lamp you have in your house? And you have the contest. But those keep people coming back time and time and time again. And another thing while you're doing that and you have that traffic there and everybody's having fun is to make sure that you post your story. What got you there? What got you to the point where you have opened your business? You have people coming back all the time. You have these different crazy contests. People are showing up on your story just to see what craziness you got going on, what kind of contest you have, but then remind them who you are and where you came from. And most of the time, when you're a local business, it really helps you stand out. And when you're there and you say, hey, I used to live on, maybe close to this area. For New Yorkers, it could be, I used to live by Central Park. I used to live in Manhattan. I used to live in the Bronx. When you're talking about Tampa, I could live in South Tampa. I could live in West Tampa, or I lived in West Chase, or wherever the case is. And it gets those people to say, wow, I know that place. I know exactly where that is. This guy came from there. He's one of us, and he's created this local business that I want to go to. And tell him your story with that really direct and straight, honest piece of, this is who I am, this is what I represent, this is what I want to bring to my community, and this is what I thought about opening my business in this area and how it could benefit the people around me. And I think that's a very great touch point for people who are trying to kind of really just stand out.
Speaking about telling your story, a couple things come to my mind when you're saying that. The first thing is testimonial stuff and getting customers, maybe in fact, to either write something about your business. Of course, we always talk about 5-star Google review. That's a big thing. That's, almost like a referral. That's a testimony right there. But get them involved. Get some of your customers that are camera friendly and maybe interview them and let them indulge and say, hey, this, Pete is a great guy. He took care of me when I was down in the dumps, and he worked with me when I went through financial hardships, et cetera, et cetera. That would be a great thing of telling your story and building your brand. And of course, staying on the social media topic, an idea what you could do to help promote your brand and telling your story is by actually creating reels and stories on social media. One of the things you could do is every day, or at least a couple times a week, is have the manager or an employee take over the Instagram and Facebook and share stories and Instagram reels on what their shift looks like. Get to know the employees. We've been talking about this, about how maybe we start going around and interviewing our regular hourly employees, a quick little 5-minute interview. Hey, how long have you been with us? What's your position here? How do you like it? What pros and cons? And, what's your plan for the future? What do you like to do in your spare time? It makes you relatable, and it's more about than just the business. Again, it's kind of what you're saying. It's about the community involvement as a local business.
You know what I was thinking is, if you have your Instagram reel or you have a customer on there, how great would it be to tell them, okay, Miss Jones or Bobby who's delivering the truck, if I get so many views or so many likes, I'll pay you $1 for a like or a view up to a certain amount. You want to make $100, Bobby? You put an Instagram reel and you show everybody what you're doing during the day. You show them loading the trucks and cleaning out the back, and I'll give you up to, you get 20 likes, I'll give you $20. Like 50 likes, I'll give you $50. But the whole point is, those views are worth what you're paying for. Not only is he benefiting, but you're benefiting. Just like the customer, if you're telling them, hey, you had a great experience, I want to put you on camera, and they're like, okay, sounds great. I tell you what, up to $50, you get 50 likes or 50 views on this, I will take that off of your agreement, or I'll just pay it to you cash, whatever the case is, and get them involved in those reels. That's some great ideas, Danny.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Chow here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space, Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing, and let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too.
Well, and then bottom line, we're talking about standing out. How are you going to stand out to your customers, to your community, to your competitors? And, we all have those reoccurring customers that stick around with us, whether they pay everything off or whether it's just a rotation cycle of continuously renting something. But you got to ask yourself this, why do they stay loyal to you? And if they do stay loyal to you, what is their incentive? I'll even use the word compensation. Why not think about a customer loyalty program? We've talked about this. We've talked about
so big,
it, right?
So big.
It is. Almost everybody does it. There's a point system that a lot of companies do. For X amount of dollars you spend, you get a certain amount of points, and then you can use those points to get your own gift cards. Or something that we talked about here is about using a customer card and have different brackets, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and depending on your card status will determine the better deals you can get. But again, it's connecting to them, and it's something to incentivize specifically your recurring customers to stay with you, want to stay with you because there's a benefit to it.
Well, I went with the missus, right, and we go shopping, and I'm not going to mention the actual name of the stores, but I'll tell you, the first place we go to, they sell these amazing scented candles, right? And these 3-wick candles are on sale, and we go up, and the first thing they ask is, how was everything? The second question is, are you a rewards member? So they want to make sure we're okay. And the second thing is, are you a rewards member? Oh, not? Well, you could possibly save, 2% or 3% or whatever the case is if you give me your name, your phone number, and your email. Okay, we left that place. We immediately went to a place next door where they sell watches. Great, nice looking watches. I wanted to get one. And sure enough, as we're at the counter, what happens? They ask the same thing. Are you part of the loyalty program? No. Well, then let me give you the reasons why. Okay, we leave there. Third place is like a clothing place. They have it for a lot of ladies. We go in, and at the counter, 3 for 3, they ask me, "Are you part of our reward program?" And they all call it something different, but it's the same, right? And they want to get your name, their number, because they want to track how many sales you make or they're making with you. Even if it's to different stores, like let's say in different malls, but it's the same location, they want to track that. They want to know where you're going. They want to know what you're buying, and they want to reward you for that to keep on coming back to them. Bro, that's great. Why aren't we doing that in rent to own? We should have that. If you want to go to this city, I have a store over there. Your rewards will transfer over there so that you can be treated just like you are here in another city. Oh, that would be killer.
That's huge. That's a great idea. I'm writing that down actually as we speak, because it happens. Sometimes great customers do move, and it's always by a store scenario. I mean, even though we'll do our due diligence and contact that other store and say, "Oh yeah, how were they?" and the manager involved. But then again, it's like this. So hypothetically, what if a customer that we had back in 2017 moved out of state? Now they're coming back in state, but they moved to a different area. And they tell that manager, "Hey, I used to be a customer, but I was at the Temple Terrace store under Danny, but Danny is not running that store anymore." So they call that store, and now it's Pedro. Pedro doesn't know this customer. Maybe the system doesn't have all the information. Maybe it has some information. I don't know, depending on your OS, But, if you have some sort of loyalty reward program and that carries through, there should be some sort of data that shows, hey, this is a great customer. Or, like I said, like that platinum card, you can't make that up. If they present that to you, regardless of the tenureship, you'll know at one point they were a great customer. I think that's a great idea. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, how many customers do we have that sometimes go under the radar? Because a lot of times when we're looking at things, we're looking at the wrong things. And sometimes I've always heard you can always go into Ask a Great Manager, name 20 people that you probably don't want to do business with right now. Okay, name me 10 great customers. And usually it takes a little bit longer because those people, they come in, they pay, they leave, they know what they want when they come in. They don't make, I want to say difficult shopping, but you don't need to go over there and show them everything. They know exactly what they want. But they kind of go under the radar, and we need to put them on the pedestal. We need to get them elevated.
You know what? You just kind of hit something there and made me think, can you name me 10 auto pay customers?
And you know what? That's our crutch. That's our Achilles heel, because we don't look at them. And we should be pulling those lists and looking at them and going, if I had a loyalty program, these guys are the ones I'm going to start with, because they're the core of the business. And not that any customer is not as important as another, but when you have that one that's systematically taking care of that bill without any calls, without any references, don't forget them, because they are the core of the business, and you want to involve them in that loyalty program, which would make things tremendously better.
Speaking about, local business and being part of the community, I'm shooting out ideas now. We think a lot of companies, and we do Customer Appreciation Day. Why not get a specific and have an auto pay Customer Appreciation Day? So make it a special VIP event that only auto pays can attend. It forces the stores to really look at them and reach out to them and give them something back, because we don't have that normal week-to-week, month-to-month report, because they're just an auto pay and the money's coming in, they have their product, and but this business is more than just a transaction.
Well, maybe we can, maybe even under a loyalty program, maybe we can give them more points for being an auto pay customer.
Oh, I like that. That's a great idea. Great idea.
And it'll help them reach a higher status faster. And I think everything that is incorporated in that, of course, you're going to have to take it out for your local RTO and, figure out how that works with your customers and with your management. And if you are management, how that's going to work with, how you do things in your operating software. But those are ideas to keep your customers with you, keep on coming back. And again, it's about customer retention. And customer retention is about making sure that they come back again and again. I think if you want to make your local rent-to-own business stand out, okay? Now, this is for the guys who are not in big box right now. And when I say that, big box and rent-to-own is the racks. You have errands that are really, really huge. But how about if you have that local business like let's say CPO Group Rent King, we have 19 locations. We don't have 105. We don't have 200. We have 19 locations, and they're all in Florida, and they cover probably the middle central Florida, right? So when you're doing that,
What about Great Rooms, Happies?
Great Rooms, Happies, 5-star. You have guys out there that are really trying their best with what they have, right? The best way to do that, and I'm not saying big box can't get into this, but it's usually a little bit different when you have the local stores engaging in the community, either through sponsorships when you do it for little leagues, when you do it for, let's say, little football or peewee. I used to be peewee when I was growing up. I don't know if it's still peewee now, but
Schools.
yes, schools or soccer events. We recently just did a promotion with a high school, King High School, where we were going to their homecoming event, and we had a raffle, and we raffled off the TV to somebody who is in the community, and they were right there. They can go to the game, put their name in, and then they got recognized. That's what we're here to do. You can volunteer or get some of your guys to volunteer at a local organization and show the customer that we're there. We're not just there to make money. We're not there to sell. We're also there to give back. It's not just about profits. It's about giving back to the community that supports us when we're doing what we're doing. We want to support you, what you're doing and your family. Maybe giving out turkeys like we talked about. Maybe being at the local events. Maybe when they have a parade, we're not just in the parade. Maybe we can support something for the parade. Or when we have, let's say, every year when we're going back to school, ranking or other places, we do backpacks. You get the backpacks for the kids that have the school supplies. I can't tell you how many times with 3 girls I've had teachers say, hey, we don't get the same amount of funding that we used to get. Well, you know what? Here's 10 backpacks with packs of papers and pencils, and give me a list of what it is that you need or require. Let's throw that in there and get that to the community. I mean, speaking of the community, though, make sure that you guys are not overstating the fact that you're local. Local businesses have support. A lot of people say buy American. Well, buy local. Local is just the same thing as saying anything else. Not that big box retailers are bad. Not that the big guys are bad. We're not saying that. We're all one rent-to-own family, whether you're big or whether you're small. But when you mention that you're local and you give back, you've got a lot of people who are interested in your brand and they want to help you give back to that community because you're local and you're from area. That is a gimme as far as how you can get those people involved and stand out amongst a crowd of people. Give back to the person that's giving to you. I think that's one of the best ways to stand out and make it happen.
It's last week was Thanksgiving. Was it last week or the week before? I don't know. But I had some stores, you had some stores, Pete, that we had our managers hand deliver some turkeys to a couple customers, families in need, maybe a great paying customer and maybe a customer that was just going through a financial hardship. And the testimonies I heard from the managers, I had about 3 managers call me to tell me that 3 of the customers that they delivered the turkeys to had just been diagnosed with cancer, and that each one broke down in tears, crying.
Did you say 3? Did you say 3?
3.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
3 different locations, but 3 customers. It was. I think it was a big coincidence that they just happened to randomly choose them. I take it back. One of them, the manager actually told me that they knew they had just been diagnosed, but the other 2, right there on the spot, as they delivered the turkey, they broke down crying, and they explained that they had just found out. So it was a big coincidence, but it's the stuff like that. And listen, that's nothing that big to do for your community to get involved and to show that you're a local company. And look at the testimony they got from it. But you can also do little stuff in the stores every day, little stuff. We talk about this when it comes to hospitality. Do you have coffee every morning for your customers? Do you have a little snack for the kids? I wrote this down earlier today. Now that it's Christmas time, switch it up. Have some hot cocoa. Have some hot cocoa in your store ready to give to the kids. I bet kids love hot cocoa with marshmallows. Ask the parents' permission. Make sure, that they're allowed to drink it, the sugar and all that stuff. But, it's the little stuff like that. And I've talked about this before in a couple lectures that we've done, Pete, but there's a great book out there.
The Simple Troops of Service.
Yes, that one with Johnny the Bagger. If you haven't heard the story, go read that book. The Simple Truths of Acts of Service. Real quick, Johnny the Bagger was working at a grocery store. Long story short, he would leave little personalized notes in each grocery bag that he would bag for the customers. The reputation got so big that the line for his line would go into the aisles. Managers would come to the customers and say, hey, there's other registers open. And the customer would say, no, we're waiting for Johnny.
It's a good day affirmation. Hey, I hope you have a great day. Hey, let me tell you something great about yourself. Or chin up, you're doing wonderful. And those things can go a long, long way. Don't understate the things that you think are obvious and just this out there in the open. Having a real heartfelt conversation and looking somebody and saying, I appreciate you and I appreciate everything you do. You know what? Let me give you, and it's not always about giving something. It could be as simple as advice, or it could be a bag of socks. But what it could be is somebody's day. And when you make somebody's day, you can't put a price on that. That is priceless. And coming from a local RTO store, helping people make their day, that's what will make you stand out in this crazy world of everything that's going on. Stand out in the right way. Talking about standing out, right now I want to hit you up with our local sponsor that's taking care of us. Unlimited Marketing Solutions is a social media marketing company that can market directly to your specific customer base and provide solid and trackable results. Unlimited Marketing Solutions are also extremely flexible to meet your unique needs and budget, and are currently running a promotion for 10% discount off your first 6 months of marketing when you mention the code RTO Show. That's RTOSHOW when you call them at 352-553-3245. You can also email them at unlimitedmarketingsolutions@gmail.com. And those are the ways that I think that we can stand out and really just make things happen. I really believe that when you go into a situation with the intent of standing out, but not standing out as in, I'm going to go and stand out. I'm going to go and do something, and I'm going to let my actions show whoever I'm doing it with and for that I am a little different than the guy down the street.
We'd love to hear some feedback. If you have anything to add on how to stand out, please email us at pete@thertoshowpodcast.com. You can email Danny at danny@thertoshowpodcast.com. Please visit our website, thertoshowpodcast.com. You can also hit us up on Facebook and Instagram at The RTO Show. Send us a message, send us a link, give us some ideas. Tell us if you learned anything from this episode, if you implemented anything. That's the important thing also, guys. We talk about this in meetings. We can talk about it, we can brainstorm, we can come up with these great ideas, but they're not going to be nothing if you don't implement something. And you don't have to do it all. Pick out the top 3 subjects that we covered that really touched you and moved you, and just implement it and see if you get different results and different feelings from your customers.
We love the involvement, guys. We love getting hit up. We love getting messages. We are messaging back people as they hit us up. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than other guys. We do have a day job, unfortunately, so we have to make sure that that's taken care of. And going into the fourth quarter, if anybody knows, rent to own is crazy into the wall between October and December. So we are getting back to everybody that we said we were going to, and we're going to talk to a lot more people. We have some interviews coming up soon that we're trying to set up and line up and make sure that we have it all going for you guys. So there's a lot in the pipeline. Just stay tuned. Make sure that you subscribe, hit us up. And if you need to hear where we're coming from, there's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, anywhere that you can possibly get a podcast, we're trying to get there. And if we're not on one of those platforms, please hit us up at our email or our social media pages and let us know, hey, I went here and I didn't see you guys. Let us know. We'll bombard them. We'll make sure we're everywhere that you want to be.
We'd like to wish everyone a happy holidays. And without further ado, this is the RTO Show with Danny and Pete.